Well, a very good morning yet again to Game on Hay. The tournament is getting towards the end of the Super 12s, but we've still got a few days to go. There are still points to be won. There are still net run rates to be boosted. There are still places to be qualified for in those semi-finals. So there's still interest before we get to the big games of the semi-finals and final in around about a week's time or so. Let's tell you, first of all, what's going on today, the games that are being played in the two different venues today. First of all, we have New Zealand against Namibia. If we can just put that up on the screen, that would be lovely. Just to show exactly where we're at.
शारजा में है ये मैच और आप सबको को देखने को मिलेगा 3 बजे के करीब और उसके अलावा दूसरा मैच इंडिया और स्कॉटलैंड का है जो दुबई में होगा वो भी शाम 7 बजे आपको देखने को मिलेगा और आप सब
Can I just say, I knew that. I knew both those games. We'd like to show it to the people so they can read it, you see.
We'll just have to wait a little while, I guess.
Yeah, I know we're early, 25 to 1. It's very early in the day to get these things sorted.
So आप सबको भी जुमा मुबारक, उमर भाई आपको भी जुमा मुबारक, राशिद भाई आपको भी, अजहर भाई आपको भी बड़ी तैयारी से आए हैं. आज हमारा जो पैनल है वो सही जुमा बना रहा है. आकिब भाई भी हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं and Sir Vivian Richards is also with us.
Juma Mubarak to you, sir.
Say Juma Mubarak to you also.
Thank you so much.
So हमारे पास पॉइंट्स टेबल मौजूद है. अगर हम पॉइंट्स टेबल पे नजर डालें इन टीम्स के मैचेस हैं आज न्यूजीलैंड और नामीबिया दे आर बोथ ऑन 2 पॉइंट्स. न्यूजीलैंड अभी भी सेमीफाइनल की रेस में मौजूद है इसलिए इनके लिए ये 2 पॉइंट्स बहुत ज़रूरी होंगे. नामीबिया और स्कॉटलैंड इस रेस से बाहर हो चुका है. इंडिया
Sorry, that's wrong.
इंडिया के 3 मैचेस हो चुके हैं. ये पुराना शायद टेबल आ गया तो हम इसको वैसे बात कर लेते हैं क्योंकि इंडिया ने एक मैच जीत चुके हैं और उनके पास 2 पॉइंट्स हैं.
So, no, very, very sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to start this show again because that points table is wrong.
Yes.
India have points.
Yes, that's
on
what
the table.
that's
on the
what
table, they don't. Maybe it's today's Friday, isn't it?
Yes.
Very important day in the week.
Yes, very important.
Maybe that table came from Wednesday. I don't know. But the point is that India today need points. They need 2 more games. They need points from both games. They get to 6. But their fate depends on New Zealand, who already have 4.
Yeah.
And if they win their games against Namibia and Afghanistan, then of course they go to 8. So India's entire hopes rest on winning their games, yes. Getting the net run rate up, yes. But it also depends on New Zealand falling against Afghanistan.
Proper quarter-final.
And anyway, who knows what games are being played today, because obviously it's a closely guarded secret in one language only. We'll come back to those games a little later. Let's have a sort of broader discussion about the tournament again, because what we saw yesterday was the end of the tournament for a couple of teams. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, West Indies also no longer have a chance of qualifying for the semi-finals. Viv, if we can come to you on that, just wondering about sort of reaction in the Caribbean, because there are some players there who have also bowed out at the same time. So the big 4 who failed yesterday, to put it bluntly, who could have led West Indies to better times in this tournament. We've used the word rebuilding about various sides in these groups, but for West Indies and their supporters, it's not a good time.
Not really. I guess there were a lot of criticism before the team actually left, in terms of some members who were selected, and I believe in losing, that may just send home the message to the individuals, who had criticized the team that was picked before. But as I said, it was a team that they felt with individuals who were known match winners and individuals who would have won tournaments around the world and stuff like that. So it didn't quite pan out for the team in itself, and this is the way it goes. But there will be criticism. And I think I remember saying last night that let's hope that the individual doesn't look at this tournament in itself and judge the individuals from that. There's much more, I think, that we can think about. We didn't quite accomplish the things that they had hoped for. And let's move on, and we speak about maybe young individuals who we think can maybe continue to carry the baton. But there will certainly be criticism at home, and it depends which island you're from also, because the insular sort of environment still exists in the region. So there'll be lots of topics, really.
I mean, the topics will include the future of Chris Gayle. We know that Dwayne Bravo is retiring from international cricket. We know that Pollard has said he wants to carry on playing international cricket. Well, he better start, because he hasn't done anything in the last couple of weeks.
Well, he just had, he had a bad outing. And
no, he did.
Let's not forget that he has been pretty good over the years. And
he averages 12 in World T20s. That's, that's a bit of a disappointment for a man of his renown in IPL and things like that.
Well, especially where he comes in as well, too. You know, if he gives himself, if he puts himself up there.
Yeah, but it's always a quick 12.
That may help.
Okay, Aaqib, in sides like Bangladesh, you've talked about a lot. Sri Lanka went out yesterday, but on a high, which was encouraging for them. And that's the sort of thing, even if you're not going to qualify for a semi-final, not going to qualify for the big berths, when you have a performance like yesterday's, at least you can say, right, that was what we can do, and that is the lead to the future.
I think with all the pandemic bubbles and all this stuff, I think it was tough for the teams to be together and practice together, and playing the series together. And I think in this challenging environment in UAE, I've seen lots of lows from the teams and the high notes. India underperformed, then West Indies, Bangladesh. Sri Lanka was there because nobody was having a hope from them, unknown sort of team. Once they done something good, the people started appreciating. But if you go back in 2016, they were finalists against West Indies. So they always done good, because when Pakistan won T20 World Cup in 2009, they were finalists. They're always there in T20 cricket. But over the years, I think with the boards and the system has to understand that their consistent policies are more important to have a consistent team underneath. We have seen what Azhar the other day said, and we all discussed 2019, the Pakistani team was
2017.
18 was number one for like 2.5 years, and then regime changes, the government changes, the board changes, the coaches, the captain. I think we have to take this game, a beautiful game, away from the politics. ICC said that, okay, no politics in cricket, no regional or national politics in cricket, but it's all there. So that's I think, is the point which moving forward has to be addressed.
Indeed, right. We're just going to wind back to the start of the show very, very briefly and show you the games that are coming up today with full screen graphics for you. Just to say, first of all, New Zealand, Namibia will be in Sharjah at 3 o'clock local time here in Pakistan. That's the first game of the day. Second game will be India against Scotland in Dubai, 7 o'clock local time. And we can also show you, I think, the points table which has been updated to reflect the current status here, with India on 2 points correctly, New Zealand on 4 points correctly, Pakistan, of course, top of the tree, 4 from 4, 8 points maximum, all good in Pakistan. But the competition obviously is between New Zealand and India. Afghanistan will play their part because they have to play New Zealand in the final game as well. So if for instance, New Zealand were to slip up, that would open the door for others. So thank you very much indeed for those cards, Shukriya. Much appreciated. And we're now up to date. It's now Friday. It's now officially Friday, and all is well. Just thinking about the ramifications. We talked about some of the sides that are obviously on the way out already or have gone already. Just thinking about the impact it would have, for instance, in India. If this doesn't go their way, if they don't somehow get themselves out of this slight hole they're in at the moment, and things don't go their way, of course, the reaction there could be quite vibrant.
Yes, you've used the word very politely, because we have seen in Asia generally, whether it's India, whether it's Pakistan, Bangladesh, the fans, the media, they are very intense about the wins and about the losses. So, of course, India would want to win this game and the next one. And then a lot depends on how New Zealand and Afghanistan's match go forward. So a lot depends now. They are in this situation. Mostly Pakistan had been in this situation a lot. We would be praying, especially on Fridays, about who should beat who when we wanted to qualify for the semis. But this time Pakistan team has done really well. बहुत अच्छा खेले हैं वो लोग. और अगर हम इंडिया के तरफ ही लेके जाएं कि किस तरह के रिएक्शंस आ सकते हैं जो इन्होंने सवाल किया, ऑब्वियसली आप भी इसका जवाब दे सकते हैं. और अफगानिस्तान और न्यूजीलैंड का मैच अब तकरीबन क्वार्टर फाइनल की तरह का बन चुका है.
देखिए हाइप बनी हुई है कि न्यूजीलैंड और अफगानिस्तान का जो मैच है इसलिए बनी हुई है कि इंडिया को हमें रखना है, क्योंकि अगर ख़त्म हो जाता है यहाँ पे सेमीफाइनल बन चुके होते तो टूर्नामेंट एक तरह से आधी दुनिया जो है वो इंडिया है क्रिकेट की, वो देखना बंद कर देती. तो क्या एक ज़िंदगी दी हुई है इस वर्ल्ड कप में, हालांकि जितना न्यूजीलैंड को ही है, लेकिन एक हलचल मचाई हुई है पूरे उसमें. सोशल मीडिया में देखें सब अपने अपने तरीके बना रहे हैं कौन पहुंच सकता है कितने रन रेट से, नेट रन रेट से. लेकिन जो भी हुआ इंडिया के साथ वो उनकी अपनी गलतियां हैं. लेकिन हम वर्ल्ड कप की अगर बात करते हैं, न्यूजीलैंड बेटर साइड थी, पाकिस्तान अच्छा खेली और जिसकी वजह से वो अभी तक लग रहा है कि ये क्वालिफाई कर जाएंगे. इसके आफ्टर शॉक जो है इंडिया के वो आपको पता है हमारे साथ पाकिस्तान के साथ भी हो चुके हैं और बुरा असर पड़ेगा वर्ल्ड कप. अगर ये क्वालिफाई नहीं किया इंडिया ने तो वैसे ही उन्होंने अनाउंस कर दिया कि राहुल द्रविड़ आ रहे हैं एज ए कोच आ रहे हैं और कैप्टन भी उनका T20 के चेंज होंगे. और अब कौन आता है ये नहीं पता, लेकिन ये कि बहुत बुरा असर पड़ेगा इंडियन क्रिकेट के ऊपर कि अगर क्वालिफाई, क्योंकि वहाँ पे भी हमारी तरह ही है, ऐसा कोई चेंज नहीं है. जिस तरह सोशल मीडिया बैशिंग करता है प्लेयर की हमारे यहाँ भी और वहाँ पे भी, तो इसके बड़े बुरे असरात पड़ने वाले हैं ऐसा लग रहा है. 50% तो पड़ चुके हैं.
हाँ नहीं बिल्कुल, उनका मीडिया भी काफ़ी स्ट्रांग होता है. अजहर भाई, नामीबिया और न्यूजीलैंड का मैच पहला मैच होगा आज. अगर हम थोड़ा सा नामीबिया के बारे में भी बात कर लें, ओवरऑल जस्ट जनरल एक डिस्कशन कर लें कि बिल्कुल आखिरी टाइम पे वर्ल्ड कप में आए, ओवरऑल जिस तरह की इनकी फाइट नज़र आई, 2 पॉइंट्स इनके पास हैं, स्कॉटलैंड के पास अभी भी पॉइंट नहीं है. तो ओवरऑल इनकी आपको जो फाइट नज़र आई है, जो जिस पैशन से ये खेलते हैं, कितना इम्प्रेस किया आपको?
नहीं, डेफिनेटली इनकी टीम अगर देखें इस टूर्नामेंट में खेल रही है तो आई थिंक मेन जो ये यहाँ पे हैं, जैसे कल आकिब भाई ने बात की कि बांग्लादेश जो क्वालिफाई किया वो शाकिब की वजह से किया. आई थिंक दिस टीम जो है ना उन्होंने क्वालिफाई किया है तो इसमें दो से 3 प्लेयर ऐसे हैं. उनके कैप्टन है रेस्मस हो गए, डेविड वीज़ा जो हैं उनका काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट रोल रहा है इसमें. तो अगर आप देखें तो ये टीम जो है ना कुछ इंडिविजुअल पे है, बिकॉज इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ कुछ इंडिविजुअल में हो सकता है कि बहुत अच्छे प्लेयर हों लेकिन हमने उनको इतना देखा नहीं है, तो मैंने उनको इतना ज़्यादा देखा नहीं है, तो मैं जो मैंने देखा है मैं उसकी बेस पे बात कर रहा हूँ कि कुछ इंडिविजुअल हैं जिसकी वजह से ये टीम यहाँ पे पहुँची है. तो आई होप कि आज वो अच्छा खेलें और जो बाकी लोग हैं, जाहिर सी बात है कि 15 की टीम है, कोई 2 बंदों की टीम तो है नहीं, तो मैं देखना चाहूँगा कि बाकी प्लेयर्स भी जो है ना वो चिप इन करें. दिस इज़ अ टाइम फॉर देम कि वर्ल्ड को दिखाएं कि वो क्या, उनमें क्या एबिलिटी है, क्या स्किल्स हैं.
और उमर भाई, स्कॉटलैंड का भी थोड़ा सा वैसे जिक्र हम उन पे भी हल्की सी लाइट डाल देते हैं. उनकी टीम ने पिछला मैच काफ़ी अच्छा खेला है न्यूजीलैंड के अगेंस्ट, जो मैच था फाइट नज़र आई है. 144 रन्स उन्होंने बनाए चेस करते हुए. तो क्या समझते हैं, वो भी एक मतलब ऑब्वियसली इंडिया को भी पॉइंट्स चाहिए, अपना रन रेट भी बढ़ाना है, पर उनकी भी फाइट से, क्योंकि हमने देखा है उनके बरक्स जब बांग्लादेश है दूसरी साइड पे, उन्होंने तकरीबन हथियार डाल ही दिए थे. ये दोनों टीमें अब तक लड़ रही हैं, तो ये स्पिरिट की तो हम इनको शाबाशी दे सकते हैं.
और जी बिल्कुल, वर्ल्ड कप के स्टार्ट होने से पहले हम यही बात कर रहे थे कि स्कॉटलैंड ऐसी टीम है कि जिसके काफ़ी प्लेयर जो है ना वो डिफरेंट काउंटीज़ में भी खेल रहे और रिस्पेक्ट कर रहे थे कि वर्ल्ड कप में थोड़ी सी उनकी परफॉर्मेंसेस बेहतर होगी बनस्बत जिस तरह अभी वो बोर्ड पे हैं. लेकिन ओवरऑल अगर आप उनकी टीम देखें तो काफ़ी लड़के हैं जो कि अच्छा परफॉर्म करने की उनमें एबिलिटी है, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो नहीं कर सके. लेकिन स्टिल अगर आप उनको देखें जिस तरह लास्ट मैच में वो खेले, आई थिंक अभी फ़िलहाल वो तो वर्ल्ड कप के उस फेज पे आगे कि जहाँ पे उनके आगे के रेस कोई है ही नहीं. तो आई थिंक वो लेस प्रेशर होगा उन पे जिस तरह वो लास्ट मैच खेले और आज का मैच भी विदाउट एनी प्रेशर. और जिस तरह के उस टीम में प्लेयर्स हैं, काफ़ी अच्छे प्लेयर्स हैं. अगर उनके कैप्टन को देख ले, जॉर्ज मंजी को देख के उसके जो स्ट्राइक रेट और जो T20 के जो परफॉर्मेंसेज हैं, तो आप इसको लाइटली नहीं ले सकते, क्योंकि T20 में जो ना एक आध प्लेयर ऐसा है कि अगर वो परफॉर्म कर जाए तो आपका मैच जो ना मैच सिनारियो चेंज हो सकता है। तो काफ़ी प्लेयर्स हैं उनमें एबिलिटी है, जिस तरह उनके पेसर ने बॉलिंग की लास्ट मैच में जिस तरह सफियान शरीफ ने वो किए, तो आई थिंक लेस प्रेशर होगा स्कॉटलैंड पे, और इंडिया की ऑब्वियसली कोशिश होगी कि वो अपने पॉइंट्स भी ले। पहला तो उनका ये होगा कि पॉइंट्स लेके फिर अच्छे मार्जिन के साथ जीते, और जो आगे जो मैचेस सेमीफाइनल का जो रेस है, तो ऑब्वियसली उनके माइंड में होगा कि अपना रन रेट भी अच्छा करें, मजीद और अच्छा करें, और 7 पॉइंट्स भी लेने।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये सब चीज़ें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है आगे आने के डिस्कशन में। So of course, Rashid bhai is also thinking about intense reactions from India if the people also if something doesn't go their favor in the last match. But he also has brought an interesting point. He said it's all a created hype of the match between New Zealand and Afghanistan. He thinks New Zealand is going to cruise their way because they have got a very good captain in Kane Williamson. So it's just people are trying to hype it up. Otherwise, chances of India qualifying for the semis are pretty low. And the other thing is that Scotland and Namibia, this both have showed a lot of fight as compared to if we see Bangladesh in the other group. They kind of left the last few matches, even West Indies, without much fight. But these two teams who have come from the qualifiers have really fought their way, and in every game they are trying to do something for their pride and passion.
No, I agree entirely, and all credit to them. I mean, it is an interesting point, isn't it, about the Afghanistan-New Zealand game, where India did a very good job in Afghanistan. You played their best cricket by far of this tournament so far, were dominant, merciless, ruthless, all the right words given the circumstances. And New Zealand, of course, have a very, very good squad, so they have every chance of doing that. But it's still that tempting something or other that maybe an upset, maybe something on the day where either the better side just gets it wrong or the lesser side just gets it right, can still turn things around. I think I take Rashid's point. There's definitely a bit of hype about this, and certainly coming from India, they want to understand, they want to sort of believe that somehow they will get back into a semi-final, which is where they think they deserve to be, whereas obviously you only deserve to be there if you play the right cricket.
That's correct. And India, they are in turmoil at this stage in terms of where they are in this particular tournament. What I can tell you for sure, you're not going to get the same reaction in the Caribbean about destroying effigies and stuff like that. We will be all talk in the Caribbean, and that will go away overnight. But in India, they take it a long way in terms of when they're on the losing side, the fans in India doesn't quite react as well as they should. But I can tell you for sure, the Windies won't be like that. In the Caribbean, we will just talk, and overnight it blows away. But I know it will go on for a long time if India doesn't get through.
Well, I suspect you're right. I suspect you're right. One of the things we can talk about, actually, because obviously these games have to be played, we have to see what the results are, we have to get the points in the bag. But one of the things that's slightly different, has been encouraging for me, is that in the last week or so, now that the games have moved up to Abu Dhabi more often, and Dubai as well, the pitches seem to be getting better. So we're getting a different sort of cricket compared to the start of the tournament, where it was much lower, much lower. Sharjah, of course, will probably stay that way for the next few years. But at least the pitches in Abu Dhabi and Dubai seem to be providing the opportunity for better cricket.
Yeah, and it started with the Indian game the other day. I think the pitches was a big issue at the starting point. That's why in India went so wrong. Because when you have a true pitch, when the distance between good and weaker side distance is huge. When it's tricky pitches, anyone can get in and make a trouble. So I think hopefully the Dubai pitches the other day was good. It has to be good now because it's knockout and it has to be fair opportunity for everyone. But today, Namibia, New Zealand in Sharjah can be tricky because look, New Zealand team is a very attacking, positive selection. 6 pure bowlers, 5. Okay, the number 7 batsman is Santana. If something goes wrong at the top, and that's why, you know, the Afghan-New Zealand match is very crucial. If Najib plays and gets like 2 blows at the top, Williamson gone and Gupta gone, and they have like what? Not very impact experienced players in the middle. And they have 3 spinners, they can give a hard time to New Zealand. And even today's game, you never know, two early wickets, and then they have the capacity. Troubleman and you know that guy Bard. He's a clever bowler. So this Namibia, in all the associate countries, we have seen they have some substance, fighting back or some quality, like David Wiese, an impact player, and sometimes he surprised many teams.
You're giving a lot of hope to the Indian fans.
Has to they need it.
I mean, there is this thing, isn't there, about all sport. Even though we know that, for instance, in this competition there are strong teams with world-class players proven over the last decade, there is always a thing in sport that it's 11 men against 11 men or 11 women against 11 women, so they all start theoretically equal.
Yeah.
And if someone produces something special on this side, it can cause problems for someone on that side. And every now and again, back in the UK, we have this thing called the FA Cup in football, where the small teams have a chance to come through a couple of rounds and eventually play against the big teams and then get completely wiped out. But for them, the fun is playing against those big teams, challenging themselves, believing, at least for at the start of the game, that they could actually step up on the day and do something very, very different. Every now and again it works, but by and large, the natural order is maintained.
And that's why, I mean, T20 format is so interesting, and everyone loves to watch that, because the difference between the top team and a younger or smaller team disappears, because in T20 cricket anything can happen. So yeah, I mean, Aaqib has made a very good point. Rashid bhai, अगर हम बाकी टीम्स के लाइनअप में देखें जो बड़ी टीम सेमीफाइनल्स के दौर में जा रही हैं, उसमें अगर देखें तो वाकई थोड़ी सी न्यूजीलैंड की जो बैटिंग लाइनअप है उतनी डीप रन नहीं करती, जो आके भाई ने बात की है कि सेंटनर जो है फिर आ जाते हैं 7वें नंबर पे, जबकि हम देखते हैं इंडिया में या ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 9 तक जाती है बैटिंग।
पाकिस्तान जब नंबर 1 रही 1.5 ईयर 2 ईयर्स, तो पाकिस्तान ने 200 नहीं किए कभी भी, नोट कीजिएगा। पाकिस्तान 160, 155, 150 पे जीतती आई, सरफराज कैप्टन थे। हमने डिपेंड किया अपनी बॉलिंग पे, उसमें हफीज़ भी थे, इमाद भी थे और शादाब थे, 3 स्पिनर पे डिपेंड किया। और हम यहाँ पे देखते हैं इनके पास ये 150, 160 ये फाइटिंग टोटल है इनके लिए, बहुत ज़्यादा रन नहीं चाहिए। मिलने इनके पास मौजूद है, सऊदी है और साथ में साउथी है इनके पास, और सेंटनर है। बॉलिंग बहुत जबरदस्त है।
मिलने को सेकंड ओवर से वैसे स्टार्ट करनी चाहिए, पहले ओवर में मार खाने।
इनकी बॉलिंग ना बहुत तगड़ी है, और फिर आपकी ना इसके अंदर कैप्टनसी बहुत डिपेंड करती है, और जिस तरह से कैप्टन है, तो इस वजह से आईसीसी चैंपियन ट्रॉफी देखें, आईसीसी टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप देखें, फाइनल कौन जीता, खेला न्यूजीलैंड। आईसीसी ओडीआई वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल कौन खेला, न्यूजीलैंड। जीता हुआ मैच था। और इसमें भी होप है कि ये टीम आगे जाएगी, क्योंकि लीडरशिप और कैप्टनसी में बड़ा फर्क होता है।
बहुत फर्क।
ये कैप्टन तो है, साथ में जो क्वालिटी लीडरशिप की है ना, सिर्फ अपने टीम के साथ मत देखें, इनका बिहेवियर अपोजिशन के साथ अगर देखते हैं, पाकिस्तान के साथ, इंडिया के साथ, इंग्लैंड के साथ, और स्पेशली हारने के बाद एटीट्यूड देखें, वहाँ इस टीम की हिस्ट्री पता चलती है कि क्या है। तो 3 इवेंट आपको T20 हो, वनडे हो या टेस्ट क्रिकेट हो, ऑन द टॉप कौन सी टीम है? न्यूजीलैंड की टीम आ रही है। ऑस्ट्रेलिया कितनी बड़ी टीम है लेकिन नहीं नज़र आ रही। इंडिया कितनी बड़ी टीम है, 19 के वर्ल्ड कप में भी गायब हो गई। तो इस वजह से हम इसको बड़ा हाईली रेट करते हैं न्यूजीलैंड को, कि लास्ट 5 ईयर से जो ब्रांड क्रिकेट का खेला है न्यूजीलैंड ने, वो मेरे ख्याल से किसी टीम ने भी नहीं खेला।
Very important point again, countering that in New Zealand might have less batting, but they have got a very shrewd captain. And with that, they only need 160 runs on the board to actually win games. So that's why their batting seems enough. And they have been dominating in all 3 formats.
Okay, well, these are all points to consider. Okay, that's the first part of our programme today done. It's time now for the long break for Juma prayers. We'll see you at the end of that. Thank you for watching so far. We'll be back with Game on Hay.